in a budget. One of the things he had included in his budget was a pay raise for correctional peace officers, those who work in the prisons, and this made a great deal of news when you came out and suggested that that pay raise be scaled back to zero, that they should not get a raise. And let me read a quote to you that has been made the rounds in the newspapers, and it was from a spokesperson from the Prison Guards Union. He said, "No one at the LAO, Legislative Analyst's Office, has to wear a stab-resistant vest. If the LAO believes that the job of a correctional officer is so desirable, then why don't they take off their pocket protectors, put on a jumpsuit, and come work on a tier?"
Well, I haven't seen any pocket protectors in our office, but I certainly appreciate the sentiments of the spokesperson. But what we looked at, Steve, is we looked at how many people are applying for correctional officer vacancies, and we found that it appears to be one of the most popular jobs to apply for now, and that the department has made significant strides in terms of filling vacancies that it has, and that it is also a job that's very attractive to those that they can meet the qualifications of a high school level and still earn about $70,000 a year, plus benefits, plus overtime. So it's a very attractive position. So when we looked at the supply and demand, it looked to us that the salaries currently being paid were enough to attract qualified applicants to the correctional system. Now, that being said, certainly going forward in years after the current fiscal year and the budget year, the state of California is going to have to enter into collective bargaining agreements with all of its unions. But in our alternative budget, we're assuming that there will be no salary increases for actually any bargaining unit that doesn't already have a contract. And the two that have a contract are the California Highway Patrol and the state engineers. Those are the ones that are funded in our budget proposal.
Sticking with public safety and state prisons, the governor, one proposal out there for discussion would be the early release of some non-violent inmates so as to save some money. But you found fault with that proposal?
Our concern with the early release proposal of the governor is it actually created, if you will, a gap between when someone came into the state prison system, they could immediately be released under the governor's proposal and then go to summary parole and have no supervision. So we were concerned that that created kind of a public safety gap, if you will. We have offered the legislature an alternative that would affect the population in our state prisons. Again, it's targeted at low-level offenders, and it's those, what we are suggesting is that there are certain crimes in the state penal code that are called wobblers. A wobbler basically gives a judge discretion to either send someone to state prison or to county jail along with probation. We're suggesting that those wobblers be changed instead to misdemeanors, and that, in our view, doesn't create the hole that the concern of the early release proposal of the governor, promotes more public safety, and also would reduce the prison population.
And what about exempting some lower-risk parolees from supervision, which is also a proposal out there?
The governor proposed a summary parole, and we think there are certainly aspects of that proposal that are meritorious. We went a step farther, though, and developed an earned discharge parole, where basically an offender would have to earn their way off of parole. And so we're suggesting that as an alternative, which again we think has some better public safety protections, doesn't save as much money as the governor's summary parole proposal, but again with an eye towards public safety would be a better alternative.
And now switching gears a little bit to